Hey, happy Sunday, everybody. This is cold brew. I'm not drinking that. Whew. All right. Anyway, hey, I'm Charlie. Welcome to the week. We got a lot of stuff to cover. I just want to say thank you to everybody. This has been a phenomenal week. Even I think the last 2 or 3 days, we had a surge of people. I actually wasn't able to welcome everybody to the group because so many people joined before I could hit the little welcome thing. Like, it only lets me welcome 50 people at a time, and last 48 hours I had 67 people. So I'm sorry if you just joined, you didn't get a welcome thing. It's because you were in a huge rush, and I had a big weekend as always. And you know what? Sometimes I take it easy, and I didn't get to do it. So I'm really sorry. Anyway, welcome to all the new people. If you don't know, I want to cover a couple things. One, this is a free channel. Will always be a free channel. There's a Patreon if you feel like supporting me and you want to get a few more things with ebooks on it, which are like summations of a lot of these lives and a lot of the other lessons put down in there, and some other tools. We also have a Slack channel where people can go in and chat with each other. And I also do one-on-ones with folks in case you want to do that. And we have a thing in here where every week I give you homework. And if you do any of the homework, which I try to keep really, really simple, and all the homework, all it really is going to do is just make your business better. And generally can be done within an hour or less. If you do any of that, you get any of the things I mentioned before, the Slack, the Patreon, or the one-on-ones, you get those for half off, or you get any ebook you want just for free. So, I mean, you do the homework for the last 4 or 5 weeks, and you're getting half the fucking ebooks we got. And today we're going to be going through point 5 and 6 of this brand builder eCom blueprint, which is the name I just came up with, and I'm sticking with it. I like it. And I was going to keep it at 6, but after talking to everybody and meeting with people, I'm either going to keep it at 6 and then do an advanced version, or expand it to like 8 to 10 or 12 things. I haven't quite decided yet, but I am going to put the first 6 things on an ebook, so maybe we'll just start there. Anyway, so your homework for this week, more than anything, is to just do any of the 1-6 items. Any of the 1-6 items from the brand builder stuff that we've been going over. Do any one of the 6. And you get everything. All right. It is just that simple. I don't want to spend today too much time on actually getting the homework done. I really want to get into answering a lot of your questions, and doing that. And what I also want to say is, every week I announce this live. When I announce this live, I'm going to also start putting up a thing in there. I meant for that to be a place where people can ask questions and I'll answer them during the live. But that doesn't seem to be happening as much lately, and I think that's because there's a shit ton of new people that didn't see how we used to do this. So I'm going to be a lot more forward. So anyway, if you're in here, drop anything you want in the comment section of the chat. If you're watching this in replay, drop anything you want in the questions of the chat. If you come across this in 6 months, ask anything you want in the comments in the chat, and I will answer you directly. That's what this is about, right? And why this is helpful. Some people... why is he doing this, whatever? So it's me answering your questions, me helping you and solving your problems, me wrapping my brain around something like, I got over $1 million a month. I've crossed $1 million in the first 7-8 days of each month on Shopify. There are people that are spending $200-$300 a month that need to figure out things. When I can help that person solve that problem, that helps me look at my problems in a whole new way, because what I'm doing is I'm working with Facebook and with other platforms to define best practices so that they can, document it and put case studies, train their reps, and then their reps tell other people how to do it, and then those people become gurus and then sell courses 6 months to 9 months later. As an example, a lot of you guys know Q3, Q4 last year, we were talking a lot about, some best practices in CBO, account simplification, some advanced matching, some dynamic ads, blah, blah, blah. And in January, we started talking about how this was what we call the Power 5. And then we went over all the elements of the Power 5, line by line and everything. This week, I went to the Common Thread Collective's sales pitch, basically, at Shopify in LA. Because my buddy Nick Shackelford was there. And Nick, great guy, entrepreneur. You'll know him because he's a speaker with Josh Fries and Tim Bird and Eric Dyke and all those people, all the people whose groups they've kicked me out of. And look, it was a sales pitch. They were giving away some strategies, but it was a sales pitch, and I knew that going in. But line item number one was Power 5. Line item number two was influencer marketing. Stuff that we covered in October, in November. And maybe we should cover it again. If you want me to cover it, let me know. See, right here, for me, the comment section is right down here in the live feed. But yeah, if you want me to cover that stuff, let me know. Huge strategy. And number three was email lead gen. And the funny thing was, one, we worked together. We, in this group, have worked together on kind of QAing some of the Power 5 stuff that they ended up pitching for $300-something a month. The influencer piece, kind of outdated. And they gave a case study from October, from Black Friday. And then the email lead gen stuff, great information, but basically they were saying how to really use a lead gen ad. And my suggestion was, instead of trying to use an email lead gen ad, which fucking nobody on Facebook uses, when's the last time you filled out a Facebook lead gen ad? The answer is probably fucking never. I remember when I was running Nissan, I used them to try to get people to test drive Sentras in like 2015. Nobody uses them. I never see them in my feed. And I'm willing to bet that you cannot remember 5 times that you saw one in your feed. My suggestion was take the influencer piece of creative that you have, so you're leading up to a Father's Day, right? And in April, you want to start doing this lead gen thing and building a retargeting audience and all of this other massively out of date, ineffective thinking. Instead, run a promotion in April with an influencer piece of creative where they have, I think they were pitching like a wallet, right? So say, pretend my phone is the wallet, right? So say you give an influencer this piece of, something, and they post it up and they do like a live feed saying like, hey, this is this great thing, go to this site and get a discount, blah, 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 blah. Then also have an influencer say like, hey, if you take a picture of you or a video with the product, we'll give you a $20 gift card. So now everybody that buys it is motivated, one, to provide you with a bunch of free content, and two, is motivated to buy it again, because if you take something that costs you $10 and you mark it up to $200 and you give them $20 off, fuck, that's just more free money in your pocket. So now people are paying you for the opportunity to buy more things and create content for you so that you don't have to worry about making content. And then I said, on that live, use a like a chat bot, like a ManyChat or ChatKit or ChatFuel comment opt-in function, so that everybody that comments on that, you direct message them basically with a, hey, are you interested in this thing? If yes, send them a lead form. If they respond, you immediately get their name, phone number, email, all the shit that happens on an opt-in, and they can direct them through a lead form there, and you're not worrying about clicks to a website. You're not worrying about optimizing some fucking click funnel money wasting bullshit. You're not worrying about all this other stuff because they commented, then a chat popped up that they knew because it was in the content of the video. Oh shit, a bunch of people just popped in. Hey, Christina, Court. Hey, everybody. So then my thing just updated. It was weird. It was like nobody was here. I was just talking to nobody. And then boom, 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 boom. So yeah. So you got all their information, and then because in the video you said, hey, comment below and I will direct message you, you can have the fucking influencer, right? So it's like Morrison, the dog who got a haircut yesterday. Morrison, look at that. You kind of look like the same dog, but you also look really cute as a different dog. Okay. Anyway. So then you have the influencer basically direct messaging people saying like, hey, thank you for the interest in this product. I really hope you're interested. If you are, let me send you something. And people are like, fuck yeah, I'm interested. Thank you, fucking, I don't know, influencer. I couldn't think of any influencer's name. Ty Pennington. Sure. I don't even know who that is. That's a name, right? Anyway, fuck yeah, send me the thing. And so then the people send the thing because they're interested because the influencer's sending them out, and then they get like, oh, here's a lead form. Let me do this thing. Oh, holy shit, great! Now you don't even need the lead form to convert them because now they got the thing we can convert right there. So you're doing email lead gen that's actually for profit that costs you 5 cents, 10 cents an engagement instead of $1 or $2 per email, and there's a much higher conversion rate with an 80% open rate. You have a giant CRM pool that you can retarget for free later with chatbot stuff, and a giant pool that you can retarget because you can retarget engagers, and you've used that influencer's leverage for the free reach. And then basically the summation of that entire thing is you have a fuck ton of content you don't have to pay for, and people, for the opportunity to give you that content, have bought from you once. They have a gift card that they can buy from you twice. So his way was how to get from like $2 to $1.50 to try to make a sale. My way was how do you 10x your money off the bat before you start the actual campaign and not have to pay for any creative. It was fun. My point is, I get more and more value out of this stuff every week because I only know that strategy because of chatting with you guys. Like there's other brand owners that I work with and people that are in the Slack channel, questions you guys give me linking up all the little pieces from everybody helps me come up with shit like that is just fucking fun and easy and super cost effective, and something that you can do after you get all of this brand builder eCom blueprint set up. That's the name of it. That just rolls off the fucking tongue. All right. Brand builder eCom blueprint. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, slight recap. I don't remember them in order because, well, it's the morning. It's kind of a little bit of an anniversary for me, and my girl got me this giant fucking donut the size of my face, and I ate like 60% of it, and it must have weighed like 3 fucking pounds. Anyway, wow, that's the sugar. Okay, anyway, so as a bit of a recap, what we've covered is this initially started out 3-4 weeks ago as like a 6-point plan. And you got to be like water. You got to change things, right? So what we've covered so far was Instagram growth hacking, right? How to use subscription-based services for like $20, $30 a month to direct message all of your existing followers. How to use that to conquest all of the audiences that your competitors have already spent time and money developing, and then how to use that tool also to send direct messages to people to make sales, to run lead gen, and to bring them into your chatbot ecosystem so that you're building CRM lists all on an automated basis and pre-qualifying customers while stealing them from everybody else that's spending a shit ton of time and money trying to get all their social media right. And fuck that. And again, to the golden rule of McDonald's is the only fast food restaurant that researches locations. Just put yourself across the street from a McDonald's, right? So that's all we're gonna do. Adidas and Nike spend a fuck ton of money doing that. If you want to have a successful shoe company, target just their people, and that's part of it. We also went over the one-click buy now lander pages, the ethos and the strategy and the mentality behind the look and feel behind a very highly converting landing page. And it isn't something that's really sexy. It's not something with a bunch of options on it. It is the simplest fucking thing, the least barrier to entry for somebody to give you their credit card, right? So we covered that top to bottom. We also talked about branded search and the value of search from when you develop intent with people, how they can find you. Because a lot of times most of the people in this group may or may not be running branded search. So you're spending a lot of money on Facebook, generating intent for your product, which is probably not unique to you. And then somebody goes on to Google and trying to find the product, and because you're not there, but the guy down the street is, you spend a lot of money to make a sale for them, which is horrible business practice. Don't spend your money to make your competitors rich. And then also how to use that a bit to branded search to inform who it is that you want to conquest with the Instagram tool. And then what else did we cover with that? There was one other thing. Hold on a second. So anyway, we got those pieces down, and Jesus. And what we're really going to cover, and let's see. Let's see. Court's got a question while I'm doing this thing because your questions are the number one priority here. Court says, Charlie, I asked the Google team to send me daily reports of the branded search campaigns. They asked me what metrics I need to see specifically. Okay, so a little bit of background. Court and I had a great chat, a one-on-one, where we worked together to build them a Scrum doc, right? And Court is providing social services, social media services for a client. And one of the things I was talking with him was that you want to measure everything on a one-day post-click so that you're not getting bullshit results and that you can literally see from the point of the last click before the purchase where the customer journey is. Now, everybody wants a multi-touch and all these really elaborate things, but if you don't understand one day post-click, you can't possibly get to anything else. So what we did is we established this is all your prospecting campaigns, this is all your retargeting campaigns, and then whether they were by static and video, by DPA, or by some other business objective, like a sale or something. And we were able to see when were good days and when were bad days, what the media mix between prospecting and retargeting was, what type of campaigns really delivered to the net end, how he could be losing money on his prospecting, but because of everything else going on, he was actually better for business for him at an overall volume standpoint. Because losing money on prospecting, losing 10 cents on the dollar there, drove his DPA to get, much more volume at a much higher return. So it doesn't matter if you're losing 10 cents on $10 on $100 if you can 2x every 75. That's an extra $50 in your pocket, and you lose $10 to make an extra 50, so you're up $40 at the end of the day. All of that fun stuff. Now, what I did was say, hey, you're working on a team, and there are other people trying to get trying to run Google. Now, for you as a service provider, if you want to understand the effect of your business, you want to show your client the value that you bring to the table and maybe steal the Google business, because odds are somebody's lying most of the time, especially if they're not willing to give one-day post-click data. And if you want to be somebody's media buyer and take up as much of their fucking media budget as possible and make the most amount of money, be the most honest person that executes their ideas most diligently. 9 times out of 10, that will get you the lion's share of their media budget, and then you just do a decent job. And most of business practice here is just do everything that everybody else does, just slightly better. You just have to improve things. You never actually really redefine stuff and rebuild things unless people just suck. Anyway, so for this purpose, inside of the Scrum doc, we were really only looking at 3 columns. But for Google, it's probably good that we add a 4th one. So I'll just include this across everything. But it's spend. How much money did we spend today? Purchases. How many sales did we generate today from the money that we spent today? And we know that because everything's attributed within 24 hours of that last click, right? So if you clicked on it at 7 a.m. today, that sale might happen tomorrow, but it'll be attributed today. It's not like in 7 days your 1.3 number matures up to a 7 and it makes your campaign look good, but really you're just stealing credit from all your email and Google people, which is bullshit. Just how you know everyone's lying to you. Almost every single time somebody says they have better than a 2x ROAS on Facebook, they're either not spending enough or they're lying about their attribution model. And anything that's not one-day post-click is lying. Flat out lying, taking credit for other people's work in a very dishonest way that you should know better. And if you're making a fuck ton of money, you do know better. And when I go and see gurus on stage talking about this shit and I see those results, the number one thing I can say is, what's your attribution model? They won't tell me. Or they'll say, oh, we did 28-day clicks so we can really see the maturation of it. And I'm like, okay, so you're full of shit. Number one, it's like when a kid's got fucking chocolate all over his face and said he didn't rob the cookie jar. He's full of shit. Anyway, spend, purchases, purchase conversion value, or I believe in Google it's called the cost conversion value, and it's cost instead of spend there. But basically it's spend, orders, revenue, and then clicks. You want to see where you're getting your clicks from, and you want to see where you're getting your purchases from. Some platforms drive a shit ton of clicks, but don't get a lot of purchases. Some platforms drive a shit ton of purchases, but don't get a lot of clicks, which means they're super efficient. Facebook is right about in the middle, which is why everybody loves it. It's a great blend. Google branded search, super high conversion rate. It doesn't deliver a lot of clicks, but almost all those clicks turn into purchases at a super high profit margin. So what you want to ask from this Google team, so you're sniffing them out and you look more valuable to your client, is saying, I want daily spend or cost, orders, which is, I think, in purchases, revenue, however they're measuring the revenue, whatever they're thinking Google, I think it's cost, value or something, and clicks. And then you're going to use the formulas that we built in that table in our thing. You're going to check out CPA, cost per acquisition, how much does it cost you to make a sale. You're going to check out AOV, the average order value of each sale. You're going to check out the CPC, the cost per click, and the ROAS. Yeah, and if you really want to go above and beyond and overachieve, you can also do percentage of spend. So that you can kind of see like when you're spending percentage this here and this here. But then basically what you're trying to do is just say, okay, if Google's getting 7x return, which is a realistic number, and they're only spending $100 a day, what would it look like if they were to spend $200 a day? How much money are they leaving on the table by trying to get an artificially high number? If you can double your spend, if you can go from 100 at 7x to 200 at 5, you need to be spending 250. You know what I'm saying? Because it makes more money. And also what that will do is, one, it'll show you the effect of your Facebook prospecting on Google branded search, which is vital. And it'll also let you give projections for the next month. And this is what I said. If you number one way to raise money as a media buyer, as an ad agency, the number one way to get more money out of your client is when you deliver reports. You deliver saying, this is how much you spent. This is how much money you left on the table. If you spent 50% more, you could have made X amount more money. Like say they give you a budget of 1,000. Like, great, you gave me $1,000. If you had given me 1,500, you would have made this much more. P.S. That number's always good. And so then they're just like, well, shit. By the third or fourth month, you're like, hey, look, you're leaving. You've already left $3,000 on the table. I don't, whenever you feel like, not losing all of this money, let me know. They'll raise their fucking budgets with you like that. Number one sales pitch to raise your budgets. Court says, what channels specifically do I ask them for? Google branded search. What I would say is every channel. When you're organizing your Scrum doc, what you can do there is simply branded search, non-branded search, and then YouTube, display, and shopping. So it should be 5 columns. And that equates to your Facebook prospecting, retargeting, DPA, all of that stuff. So those 5 columns show you your entire mix on Google. And then you can go in there and say like, hey, great, your YouTube's running at 3x. Why are you asking me to spend money on Facebook if this person can prospect on YouTube at that level? Let's send a shit ton more money there. But do that after you get the Google business, obviously. But get all that shit in house. If you become that reporting source, one, you're going to make somebody on their team look. You're going to show up their internal team members. You're going to show up the competition at the table. You're going to give the CEO the only honest answer he's gotten from anybody in fuck all time. And you're going to provide a solution. So you're going to get more money. Okay. Getting back to it, the last part of the brand building thing was chatbots. And we've talked about that a lot. And chatbots can be done really spammy and they can be done really well. And inside of that, we talked about how to really use it in this situation to build a brand, on how to use that chatbot as an acquisition opportunity. How do you use chatbot to make your first sale? And how do you incorporate it with the other things that you're using, Instagram growth hacking and all this other stuff, to drive sales? And to, how does it fit in the ecosystem? Because at the end of the day, chatbot sale costs this much money, which is great. And the things in there too, like you can make it so that if people are opted in, If they abandon cart, you can direct message them, right? So if you're getting people at the very top of the funnel to opt into the chat bot, when they get down to the very bottom of the funnel and they haven't purchased yet, instead of spending money on a Facebook ad, maybe it costs you $10 or $20 on an abandoned cart to get that sale, or you can get it for free. Free is better business, right? So those pieces. So again, to just kind of recap, it's the Instagram growth hacking, it's the one-click landing page, it's the branded search stuff, and it's the chatbot. We've covered those 4 pieces, kind of in depth. And if you have any questions about any of those pieces, I would definitely say look back at the lives, go into those lives, ask questions, look at the comments section, use that as a tool. And I really appreciate, before we get into this stuff this week, somebody sent me something about how some other groups are doing that, where they're making it like coursework where you can mark it done or something like that. And that's really cool. I'm going to try to get into some of that stuff. However, we can make this more effective, right? Like that's the number one thing, is how do we make this really easy for everybody? Hi, Michael. Hi, Krish. Anyway, so we've covered all of that pretty in depth. So I guess let's just get started on the last 2 pieces that initially started out, which are probably not going to be the end all be all last pieces of the puzzle. And sorry for everybody that's like super new. If any of this stuff feels like super complicated, I'm trying to appease to entry-level people, as well as folks that spend $20,000, $30,000 a day like me. So we're going to cover a lot of bases. If anything seems complicated or seems like something that you don't want to do, don't do it. You don't have to do everything. If something seems like a really great opportunity, but you just don't quite get it, comment. And if you want some direct attention, let's chat about it. And it was great to see, by the way, too, that like Common Thread Collective is just one of the many Guru for Hire coursework people. And their discounted rate was 20, 30, 50% higher than our Slack channel, which was fucking great. The Slack's $250 a month to get in on that, and they're charging it things like, I think discount was like $300, and their premium one was like $375 or $4. For the shit that we talked about 3 months ago, they're going to be, the shit that we talked about in October and January is the stuff that they're teaching now. And that was just access to like videos. There wasn't even like any direct one-on-one shit. Whatever. I get it. It's a business model. They got a lot of stuff, and those are guys just trying to brag about the cars that they drive, like Ty Lopez. They're full of shit. And mazel tov to them. They're wearing nice fucking pants. But by the way, if you go into H&M and you give them clothes for like donation, like Goodwill, they'll give you 15% off. So I went in yesterday, bought a suit because I got a wedding thing coming up later. My drummer's getting married. So I bought like a suit and a couple pair of pants. It was like $200 fucking dollars, right? My girl got one something else. So bottom line is I took my pants off in the store, handed them the pants I was wearing because I was walking out with better ones, saved $60. Which meant I could buy my girl some stuff and still walk away with $40 in my pocket after buying a suit and some pants and shit. Plus, great story. Anyway, let's get down to some brass tacks on the last few things here, because I know that's why you're probably checking in here, and sorry, a giant fucking donut and this coffee. I'm getting there. So anyway, is it Sen Harib? I'm gonna go with Sen Harib. It's probably wrong. I'm a white guy from suburban America. I'm terrible at names, but I'll own it. And if I'm right, I'm right, and if I'm wrong, I apologize. Anyway, Sen Harib is new to the group and was saying like, hey, I'm running all these things and I want to get traffic, and I'm just not able to get traffic, and I'm not able to get sales, and like I can't really ramp up retargeting stuff because I'm not getting enough clicks. And on Facebook, it's not really working for me. And so I told him, like, hey, I'm about to go live in like a minute. Listen to this thing as I've got value for you. I got you how to get the clicks coming in right now. So 30 minutes in, sorry for the delay, but we have, questions. And I want to make sure that everybody gets everything they're asking for. So let's get to it. This is part 5 of our eCom, brand builder eCom blueprint. Is a new platform, a platform called Tapjoy. And I've been talking about this a lot, and I know most of you haven't taken advantage of it because I talk to my rep several times a week. And I think I've brought on 5 or 6 brands in the last week, which is phenomenal. She loves me. She was just like, you were just a guy that I got part of my thing, and now I'm responsible for like a shit ton of her business, which is great. Anyway, Tapjoy. Tapjoy is a service that puts ads inside of applications. Now, a lot of people say, oh, this is just people who buy the things they want to level up with like jewels or coins or something in their game. And yes, that's true. But what it also does is when you get an app that costs like $2.99 and you don't pay for it, I never fucking pay for apps. You get ads inside of the app experience, right? I'm gonna just open up a game and see if I can't get served a Tapjoy ad. So anyway, you get an ad inside of the game experience. Those ads come from an app called Tapjoy. No video to play. Oh, really? Wow. Okay. No. Okay, here we go. Play. All right. I'm just going to try to run this thing, and if I see an ad, I'll pop it up on the screen like that. Anyway, so what the beautiful thing about these are that it's really cheap inventory. You don't actually pay until you make a sale, which is great because it's unlike Facebook. You're not paying for clicks. You're not paying for impressions. You only pay. Okay, here we go. So if I see this ad, right? Oh shit, I see this ad on Tapjoy. It's kind of hard to see. Anyway, that was weird. Anyway, that was a bad experience. Sorry. So anyway, when you're in an app, if you want to use an app for free, the inventory is called Tapjoy. That inventory is a great place to buy media because you only pay when somebody buys. So say your product is $50, you can give Tapjoy $48 to make that sale, which means basically that you're making a $2 profit on every sale. Now, $2 profit may or may not be good for you. This is an example. But let's say it's a $50 product and you give Tapjoy $40 every time you make a sale, okay? That's a 25% profit. That's like running a Facebook prospecting campaign at 1.25x ROAS, right? And you're doing it every day, and you can spend $50, $100, $200 a day right in there doing that thing, which is great. If you can make 1.2 on, hey Maggie, if you can make 1.2 on Facebook prospecting all day, that's wonderful. But the great thing about Tapjoy is that one, it shows ads constantly. So you're getting a super high frequency against your target market. Also, they understand who the people that click are and who the people that don't click are. And one of the reasons they get super low CPMs and the app developers work for them is because they can make money by showing ads only to people that are really interested. So after several hundred clicks, they're able to really hone in, like, what app should your ad be served on versus another one. Now, where is this really helpful? Is that Tapjoy itself doesn't have a very high conversion rate. It might have a 1% conversion rate. It might have a 0.5% conversion rate. And I hear you saying, Charlie, 0.5% conversion rate. Why the fuck would I spend money on a 0.5% conversion rate? And here's why. Let's go with a 1. Let's say it's a 1% conversion rate. 1% conversion rate means 1 out of every 100 people that click make a purchase. You only pay when somebody actually buys. So you have a $50 product and you give Tapjoy $40 every time you make a sale. So you're prospecting right off the bat 1.25x ROAS. You're getting all those impressions and clicks for free. If you get 10 sales in a day, you're going to be paying Tapjoy like $400, which is not that big of a media budget, but for some people that's huge. But you know that $400 you give them gave you $500. But it also did something else. Those 10 sales drove 1,000 qualified clicks to a product page on your website, which means those are now people inside of your view content in your add to cart audiences. So it's feeding your retargeting pool for free. In addition, it's giving a shit ton of impressions. So your Google branded search goes way the fuck up because a ton of people are seeing who you are, and you don't have to pay for any prospecting, reach campaign, video view. You've eliminated all of that bullshit non-performance campaigns that are running on Facebook by running it on Tapjoy. So you've got a mobile-only audience that is highly engaged, that makes the decision to leave their current experience to check your landing page out. And if 1 out of 100 or 1 out of 200 of them make a purchase, say it's 1 out of 200, which is not uncommon, you make 5 sales a day. At this thing, you'd be giving Tapjoy $200, and you'd be making, what's that, like $250. That's not bad for a lot of people. That's, as good or better than the Facebook store is doing. But what you're also doing is that's 1,000 people that are now in your retargeting pool, and thousands of people that have seen your branding a fuck ton of times. So, how does this fit into the ecosystem? Again, is the Tapjoy ad is doing all the prospecting for you. It's giving you super high frequency advertising inside of your target market. And it'll even tell you who your target market is. You can ask your rep, ours, her name is Julia, she's great. And if you want her email address, I'll gladly give it to you and make an introduction and help you out. They can tell you, hey, these apps are working great. What do these apps have in common? Who's your target market? So you're doing market research, you're generating a profit, and you're filling up your retargeting pools. And this is on something that if it doesn't work, you don't pay. And I'll give you a hint. It works. I have been able to take several people through it. Like I said, we brought like 5 or 6 brands on in the last couple of weeks and projects. And it is not uncommon to go from $100 to $1,000 in a couple of weeks or less. The sweet spot tends to be between like $300 and $800 a day per product. Now, I suggest running it at basically a break even, and then using that to just fuel all of your retargeting, where you're making 1.5, 2, 3x, and your Google branded search, where you're making 5, 10x. You're basically just using Tapjoy to get a bunch of free fucking traffic and move your inventory and do product research and development so that you can generate a fuck ton of profit. So, Senharib, Tapjoy is the answer to your question. I really highly suggest that you all get in on it. And again, it's really easy. They just there's a small pixel that they do. They have UTM, which is like a universal tracker piece from Google, so you can track where your clicks are inside of Google Analytics. Now, the other thing I really love about working with Julia is she will only bill on the conversions that you confirm through your Google Analytics. I literally will take a screenshot of a Google Analytics situation. For the people that I've turned on, this is what they do. Not me personally, but you take a screenshot of your Google Analytics for last month. This is how many sales I have. And then you can also put in there, these are how many people canceled. Say there are other people that are looking for like just the hookup and then they immediately cancel their order. You don't pay for that. Tapjoy won't bill you for that. So yeah, you don't pay for that, and Tapjoy won't bill you for that. So say you get 500 sales. and over the course of a month. And like 75 of them are just people that like order to get the hookup and then they immediately cancel. Tapjoy is only going to bill you for the 425. Also, it's really easy to change your bid, which in Tapjoy is what's the commission fee for somebody making a sale. So then you hand in the GA data with timestamps for each purchase, and they go in and match that in. Okay, what was the bid at that current time? So maybe you raise your bid on the weekend knowing that there's going to be more people, so you just get a shit ton of folks. So on the weekend, you're trying to drive a shit ton of traffic through your site, and then on the week, maybe you lower your bid so you can be more effective, or vice versa. I mean, I'm just giving an example. There's no real best practices I've completely figured out yet. But if you do that, they only bill off of your data, which means it's phenomenally legit. And anybody willing to work with you on that is great. You literally share your GA data, and then they will bill you off the numbers that you give them. And you can't bullshit them because they have pixels in place and they understand what's going on. You're basically just qualifying whether or not that purchase is real. And if you want it to only be first-time purchases, you can classify it as something different, and you're only paying for first-time buyers. So say that 575 of them canceled, and another 25 had already bought from you once before. Now you're only paying for 400. And those 400 are coming in at the bid that you selected. So now you're really starting to you got 75 or 25 people that have bought from you that are for free. Thousands of clicks that you got for $0. Tens of thousands of impressions that drove up your Google branded search numbers. And all of it was done while making a profit without running a single fucking Facebook ad. You can do just Tapjoy and Google branded search, spend several $100s a day, and not once open up Facebook yet, which is fantastic. So it's huge. You gotta be doing that. Yeah, so that's number 5. And then the number 6 part of this is we're finally to a point where we're actually on Facebook. So where we're at here with Facebook is Facebook retargeting. So Facebook retargeting is huge. You should be doing it. You need to have the prospect, you need to have traffic in place, you need to have all these other things. But in the grand scheme of things, all the other things we've done, chatbot, one-click lander, growth hacking, Tapjoy, and all of this stuff in branded search, all of this happened before we spent a penny on Facebook. Facebook provides scale. So now, okay, we've got a system where we can spend $300 to $500 a day. And literally any one of you can be doing this. We've got a system where you're spending several hundred a day. And you want to bring scale in. Now you introduce Facebook retargeting. Because it's the 6th thing on the list, not the first. If you're starting with Facebook, you're running ads like somebody 2 years ago, and you're going to lose money. Because it's just not where the unfair advantage is on inventory cost. And there's so many people competing there, it's just not good business to start there. I'm starting up with several brands over the next couple of months where we're working with case studies on this program, and Facebook prospecting isn't something we're going to do. We will be using it for creative testing. That's like phase 2, phase 3. That's when we're spending the shit ton of profit to try to find a better sales pitch. But that's not important for right here. So Facebook retargeting. Now I already have an ebook on this. So if you're in the Slack, in the Patreon, you can get the ebook. By the way, the Slack channel is the top tier in the Patreon. So if you're in the Patreon, you get all the Slack. If you're in the Slack, you get all the Patreon stuff. And if you get any one-on-ones, I'll give you any ebook you want. I'll give you the how-tos. I'll give you the documentation. We can build anything that you want together. It's really kind of worth it just to build a Scrum doc and give a health check. But anyway, Facebook retargeting. That's the first time we're now going to spend money on Facebook. When you're doing Facebook retargeting, there are 3 things you really need to make sure of. Number 1, your exclusions. This is the number 1 thing. Senator Reeves says, which ebooks from you to read? Well, in this situation, I'd recommend the retargeting one because we're going over it right now. And then the last 2 were like best practice docs as a 7-figure advertiser, basically ethos and strategy stuff, what to think about every day when you're running stuff. There's a micro budget ebook that's really good. And again, these ebooks are like 10-page slide PowerPoint decks. They're not super complicated. They're not super huge. They're really actionable with screenshots. And then the number 1 most important one is the Scrum doc. If you're not running the Scrum doc on your documentation, you're missing out. What I've heard from a lot of people, and to be completely honest, is that the Scrum doc ebook is helpful to understand what it is, but it's really hard for people to set up. I don't know how to make it really simple to set up. And I've opened up to, oh, don't worry, you're fine. Please interrupt, ask questions all you want, Senator. That's why we're here. This whole thing is for me to answer your questions and provide some value. You're not interrupting, you're helping. So the Scrum doc stuff, I'm going to work on, I've asked some people inside the Slack to make a Scrum doc with them and videotape it so that we can share that up on the Patreon so that we can really show some people some stuff. And the reason we have to put some stuff behind a page is because we can't make it publicly available on Facebook. We have to put it somewhere else, and the only other places that I have are paid things. And to be honest, like some of this is private data for people, and they don't want it on Facebook. So that's where it has to live. Like if I'm going to set somebody up and run their entire Facebook ad account and Google ad account with real dollars and real things, like that can't be something that's publicly facing here. If it would be easy, everyone would do it. I think everyone should do it. And if you're not, talk to me. I'll help you get there. But anyway, I digress. Or something. I think that's something assholes say. Whatever. So Facebook retargeting. Number 1, exclusions. You need to make a custom audience of people that have purchased recently. You got to understand, how long does it take my product to ship to somebody? How long does it take them to experience the product? And how long before they're likely to buy it again? Now, some people maybe shipping is, let's use an example, shipping is 10 days, okay? They buy my product, 10 days later they get it. Let's say it takes them a week to experience the product. And within the next few days, they're likely to buy. Again, you would set up in that situation a custom audience of purchasers in the last 20 days. Now, if you don't know that stuff, just throw in like 10 days. 10 days is solid. If somebody can buy your product and they don't get it within 10 days, you're going to have a really low customer store rating and your store is going to tank anyway. You're not going to be doing good business because you're not treating your customer well. And I know a lot of you are drop shippers and that's not really in your, ability to handle. Just understand that Facebook's probably not the place where you're going to succeed because you're treating your customer poorly and Facebook penalizes you for that. But Tapjoy doesn't. Google branded search doesn't. And Scrum growth hacking doesn't give a fuck. Anyway, so number 1, exclusions. And the reason you want this is because you want to be able to map the customer journey. So you want to have exclusions of people that have purchased. If you buy and then the next day I'm hitting you with ads to buy again, you're not going to buy. 1, you're not going to purchase. 2, it's really fucking annoying, which means you're likely to not buy again. And 3, I've wasted money trying to convert you when I've already gotten you. So you need to exclude purchasers. Second part is there's a funnel to retargeting, and you want to exclude your way up this funnel. The very bottom of the funnel is what's called payment ad. Not a lot of people use it. I don't really suggest it. We're going to go on a very basic level today, and if you want more in depth, the ebook gets to the super high level granular version of doing it and the super basic version that Facebook suggests that you do. And honestly, both of them are good. Super granular one's going to be better, but it's way more complicated. But the ebook will explain it in massive detail. Like, I mean, it is point by point how to build the audiences, what everything looks like. So I'm going to go with the generic example right now. Bottom of the cart. Bottom of the funnel is add to cart. People that have added a product to cart, excluding people that have made a purchase. So these are people, for whatever reason, showed a high level of intent to buy, but haven't bought yet. That's the bottom. Now, I personally will always run these audiences, and I'll break them up for a 1 day, and then like a 7 day, and then a 14-day audience. So it's everybody that's added to cart in the last 24 hours, and then in the last week, excluding the last 24 hours, and then the last 2 weeks, excluding the last 7 days. So that no one person can be in more than one audience. So you're not paying to reach that person more than once. Say you're getting a 2x return on the customer. If you're paying to reach them twice, you broke even. If you're paying to reach them 3 times, you actually lost money, even though the ROAS is 2x. So you don't want any one person to be eligible for more than one place in the funnel. Now, if it were me, and what I do often is I will draw this out on a sheet of paper and map out, like draw a funnel, like 1 line here, 1 line here, 2 lines across the middle, maybe 3, right? So you can see this is where the person is. So you can understand and literally draw a person. And I would go through your site and see, okay, when I've made it to this page, where am I in the funnel? Like, you need to understand that. So add to cart is at the bottom. Above that is what's called view content. Now, view content pixel should fire when somebody's on a product page. Not when they land on any page on your site, but if there is a buy now button or an add to cart button on the page, that's a view content page. The view content pixel should fire there. When they hit that button, then they go to the add to cart. So a view content, same thing, 1 day, 7 day, 14 day. 7 excluding the 1, and 14 excluding the 7. But add view content should also exclude add to cart. Now, where this gets a little, so a view content 1 day should exclude an add to cart 1 day. Now, where this can get complicated is an add to cart 7 day should exclude a view content 1 day because it's smaller, it's closer to the funnel. So the 1 days are at the bottom, the 7 days are at the top, the 14 days are above that. And then it's like, add to cart, view content, and then the next thing is site traffic, what we call WCA, a website custom audience. Hi, Waleed. I guess you've been in here for a little bit. I'm just getting the alert. My Facebook alerts on this live chat are buggy today. Anyway, so you get your add to cart, you get your view content, and then you get your site traffic. Now, the site traffic is going to exclude your view contents, which inherently exclude the add to cart. Because you can't add to cart unless you view content. And you can't view content unless you've been to the site. Now, where the site traffic comes in is everybody that's landed on your page that they didn't land on a product page, right? So some people have contact info or blogs or just the landing page. Somebody went to your site. Somebody found your store, right? And in the real world, these are the people that have, think of it as a real store. And add to cart is somebody literally picked the product up, they took the box up, my growler, fucking cold brew, put it in my shopping cart, walking out the door and for whatever reason didn't buy it. View content means I'm in the aisle and I'm seeing like, oh, hey, look, Gelson's cold brew and a growler. By the way, filling this thing up, $6. Highly recommend it. A site traffic is just somebody that comes into the store. So it's like you're at the mall and somebody walks by and they're like, oh, hey, look, that store. But they don't really go down any of the aisles. They just notice that you're there. They've checked it out. You've registered in the brand. They spent some time on you, but they're not buying anything yet. So for those audiences, those go above your view content. Again, 1 day, 3, 1 day, 7 day, 14, maybe 30. The reason that you go beyond 1 day is for scale. Start off with 1 day. Your 1 day should be a 2x, 3x, 5x on Facebook. That's where you actually get that kind of return. But it's going to be super low volume. Like you're going to be able to spend like $1 or $5 or $10, whatever. When you max that out and you want to make more money, you then make another audience that's a 7-day. So that you're able to give Facebook another opportunity to make that sale. Facebook is your salesperson. You're letting that salesperson talk to more people for longer. I see your question, Senator. 1 second. So you're letting Facebook talk to that person for longer. And generally, your add to cart 1 day goes to an add to cart 7-day before your view content goes to 7 or your website goes to. Those are general rules. But the idea is basically you want to go for the absolute lowest hanging fruit first. The shit where you're making money. If you set up just an add to cart, view content, and website click 1 day, and you're doing all these other things, Facebook will make you money. Almost assuredly, unless your ad is complete fucking garbage, Facebook should make you money. It's going to be little bits, but if we're running Tapjoy and Google branded search and the chatbots with the Instagram growth hacking, we're spending $200-$300 a day or maybe $500 a day. And you want to scale that, and you can add in an extra 25 or 50 a day on Facebook at like a 1.5 or a 2x because you're only doing retargeting. You're running a store that's doing well, right? If you're breaking even on Tapjoy, getting a 3x on Google, 5x on Google, and like 1.5 or 2 on Facebook, you're probably spending $300 to $500 a day, and you're probably making $200 to $300 a day in profit on top of that. Now that's a good fucking store. That's solid. That's if you can spend $500 a day, what's that over the course of a month? 30 grand. You're a third of your way to $1 million brand. How do we get you halfway to $1 million brand? What we do there is the Facebook retargeting on a 1 day works, and then we expand it to 7 day where it works, where it's good. So you can take that $30 or $50 spend, and maybe it goes up to $50 to $100 spend. And maybe you've added in a second offer onto Tapjoy, or maybe you've been able to scale up a couple other things because you're getting a little bit better at like the Google, and you're like, okay, well I know I'm making 5x. Let me bid more, and I'll get instead of 5x on $10, I'll get 2x on 50. Bye. Love you.
Love you.
Thanks for the donut.
I love you and you're welcome.
Yeah. So if that means that you can now get to 500 a day, that's like what, 6,000 a month? No, 60,000 a month. 60,000 a month is $720,000 a year. You're almost at $1 million. Now, if you're getting some profit on that, you basically built $1 million store on Shopify. And you haven't spent a penny on Facebook prospecting. You haven't built one lookalike audience. You haven't done any broad stuff. You're not doing any dynamic things. You're not doing video view. You're not doing any of that shit. You don't need to do any of that shit to make $1 million a year in sales. To have your Shopify hit another fucking comma. Last bits before we get out of here, and then I'll answer your question. For website traffic, I generally will I will use, you can sort by, when you're making it, you can do by time on site. It's one of the options on there. I think it's best practice to just always use top 25% time on site. This gets rid of a lot of the window shoppers. So you get 10,000 people to your site in a month, just for math purposes. I'm not saying that you do or I do or whatever. I generally have a couple hundred people on the site at any given fucking second. That's not the point. For easy math, let's say it's 10,000 people on your site in a month. If you go only for the people that have spent the top 25% most time, that's not necessarily knocking down your audience to 2,500 people. What it's doing is it's saying, say the average person spends a minute on your site, but a lot of people will spend 10 or 15 minutes. The top 25% means that the people that spend the most amount of time, which might be 3/4 of the people, because you might have a shit ton of people that get in and bounce right the fuck out. It means it's a great way of qualifying your audience, the people that are actually interested in what you're selling and how your site is built. Which means the people that spend time in your store, those are the people that have been looking around. They're doing research on your brand. They probably Googled you, went to your website, and they haven't really checked out your products yet, but they're interested. Those are the people that are really likely to maybe view content or add to cart. And if they view content or add to cart, they're moving themselves down the funnel and they're going to buy. So we want to do all of that shit before we ever spend $1 on Facebook prospecting. That's where I'm at now. Now, mind you, we've spent months talking about how to do Facebook prospecting properly. And this system does have a limitation. Like you can probably get to $1 million store, but to get to a $5 million store, you're going to have to do Facebook prospecting. And I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm just saying that before you do, set this system up. Because Facebook prospecting is the least effective, least efficient, most frustrating way to lose money in advertising. It's phenomenally helpful at allowing you to reach scale, which is really important. Like I said, this is a system where you can spend $500-$600 a day, maybe even $1,000 a day. Are you watching my thing, Nick? One of the buddies I'm doing this case study with literally just texted me like, I want to kind of get this done today. All right, sorry, Nick. No, oh shit, that's right. I owe him a thing. Okay. So this is a thing that will it'll help you get there. And then to move above and beyond that, obviously there's Amazon, there's a million other places, but Facebook prospecting is a way to take that store and go from 600 a day to 1,000 a day, or to 2,000 and spend a day. Now you're going to do it at a less profit margin, but you can use it for other things that we've talked about in here that I'm sure the gurus will talk about later. And I'm doing a big fucking case study with Facebook about creative testing and the best way to run CBO campaigns. And we'll get into that more some other time, but you can check out previous lives about how to optimize your sales pitch. But bottom line is, check out in the last 3 weeks, we've gone over the 6 steps to build a store where you're spending minimal amount of money and you're making maximum amount of money, and you're only spending money when you're going to profit. So I really hope that works for you. Before we go, I see there's a couple of questions, so let me get to that, and then I'm going to get out of here because it's Sunday. It's 10:30 in the morning, and I got a place to be to go get a cake at 11:30. Woohoo to me! For those of you in the know, I'm getting a cake because I have 7 years. Bravo. Anyway, Senator Reeves says, when I create these custom audiences, will my audiences be updated automatically? Let's say I create a custom audience yesterday with 100 viewed content. Today, 50 more people viewed content. Will this audience be updated? Yes. So, not only will it be updated, but it's actually dynamic. So say on Monday, beginning of the week, you get 100 people view content. On Tuesday, that viewed content audience will be 100 people. On Wednesday, those 100 people are no longer in your view content one day. They've now moved into a view content 7-day audience. your view content one day is built only off the people that have done it in the last 24 hours and it updates about every 15 to 30 minutes. So if it's noon today, let's say, okay, it's 10:30 in the morning on Sunday. My view content one day will be everybody from 10:30 in the morning on Saturday to right now. At noon, everybody from 10:30 to noon yesterday will be out of that audience, which is why we put them in a view content 7-day. And I find that the 1, 7, and 14 system is generally the most effective. And why we do that is that we can force Facebook to spend the most money on the most recent person. We don't want to say, oh, here's a 1, a 7, and a 14, spend however you feel like it. We want to say, spend 90% of your money on the one day. And then on the 7 and 14 day stuff, if there's extra money and if we want to make some stuff in there, because it's a lower profit margin, let's throw a few more dollars there. Anyway, yeah. So they are dynamic. They update every day. They update every 15 minutes or so. Half an hour. I'm not exactly sure. It used to be every 15 minutes. I'm sure there's a shit ton more people now, so maybe it's every hour or two. It's a good question. I'll ask my reps about that when they're in my office on Tuesday. Megan, if you're watching, I'm coming for you. I got a good question. I don't think she's watching. But anyway, love you guys. This was a really great month for growth for a lot of people and their stores. And also for me, I realized this month, one, that this is a great system and a culmination of a way to bring value to people, where if all they do is this 6-point system and then build a Scrum doc, and you're not making money, you should get another line of work. Because I haven't seen it fail. And I'm literally putting my money where my mouth is. I'm spending money with my friends and partners, building brands from zero right now to do it this way. Or brands that have started but have failed on Facebook. They're like, Facebook fucking sucks. Amazon's stealing my money. I'm just running my store and I'm making blah, blah, blah. And they're stoked when they get $1,000 sale days, and God bless them for it. That's incredible. I want to get them to $2,000 days, and I think I can do it. And I'm putting my dollars up to make it happen. I'm spending money out of my own fucking credit card to make it happen. That was that text from Nick. I owe him creative examples for Tapjoy. And I'll do the same for y'all. So anyway, hit me up. Really love you guys. I highly suggest you join the Patreon because it means you love me and I appreciate it. And there's other resources there. And if you want more bang for your buck, the Slack channel's big, or one-on-ones. And yes, it's money for me. But what I can say is the money that you spend on that, you should make back in days or weeks late at the latest. So if I can't provide you value, then I'm not good at my job. And let me tell you something. I haven't met somebody better than me at my job. Just being a dick. I'm at the point in the last 6 months I haven't shaken the hand of somebody better than me at this. And most of the people that are really good, I found are teaching the things that we've been talking about 9 months ago. So that's fun. Anyway, love you guys. I'm going to go because I feel like I'm just stalling now. Thank you so much. This has been really big. And if you really enjoy this, invite one friend to the group this week. Invite one friend that you think is going to benefit. Invite your friend that I would suggest this. If you've got a business and you want it to go and you want to get bigger and you got a friend with some money, you want to like, hey, so-and-so, let's go into business together. Invite them into this group and split the money for a one-on-one or the Slack channel for a month. The group is free. Do the other stuff. If I can't get you the money back for having joined that in that first 30 days, then I have failed you miserably. And so far, no one, I've not lost that challenge yet. So I dare you. Bring it on. Let me make you some money. Love you guys. Bye.